Drop it.
Welcome back to another video. In today's activity, I'm going to show to you another implementation of a two-dimensional array. But before I discuss the code, let us run the program first. So the program here will allow the user to enter 4 item price for each buyer. So we have here buyer number 1. For the purpose of demonstration, I'm going to input the value of 1 for all the buyers here, which will be the prices for each of the item that the buyer will purchase. Okay, so this is buyer 2, buyer 3, buyer 4, and last is buyer 5. So once the user has completed the input, then we're going to have this output here, a summary table. The summary table will show us the items prices that buyer 1 has made. So for the purpose demonstration, we inputted 1. So we have 1, 1, 1, 1. And on the last column here, it computes for the total price. Same goes with buyer 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Then on the last line here, it computes for the sum of all the total items or the total price here. So we have 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. So if we add them together, results to 20. So this is an implementation of a two-dimensional array wherein we have 5 buyers, and then for each buyer here, he or she will enter 4 prices. Now let's look at our code now. So the code here starts with first we have to import our Java scanner. Next is we have this as our array declaration. Okay. In our array declaration, we have declared a 5x4 array here. Next is we're going to have our total price, which is also set to 0, and then float is also set to 0. There will be 2 variables, x and y. X and y here will be used as our loop variable. Okay, this will be our loop variable. First is we're going to ask the user to enter 4 item prices for each buyer. Then this will be our input. Okay, let me note this one. This will be our input. Since our input here requires to have the prices inputted, so we have here for x equals to 0, x less than 5, then x plus plus. Now this section here allows us to print the buyer number. So if you look at this one here, this is the buyer number, okay, buyer number. So we're going to have buyer, then the number, and then we're going to increment it. Now since we started with 0, so we need to add 1 here. Otherwise, it will be buyer 0, buyer 1, buyer 2. We don't want that. So the purpose of this line here is for us to add 1 to the variable or the value of x here. Then, this section allows us to input for the values. Okay, that is buyer item price, which is array x and y, and then input next float. So that's why we're able to print this one here. Okay. After that, the section here displays our item. Okay, so if we go back here, this is the display of our columns. So we have used here system out, buyer, then we have 3 tabs, or actually not 3 but 4. Then we display the item price, then we have another series of tabs here, and then the total price, then \n. This section allows us to display the content of the buyers. So we have for x equals to 0, x less than 5. So it brings out the buyer here, buyer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then another loop that displays out the content. So we use here 2 tabs per item for us to display the values of our buyer item price. Then what it does, it computes for the total prices here. So total price is equals to buyer item price, this one here. And then it also computes for the total price, which is we have displayed here as the total value. Next is, now we need to set sum plus equal to total, which computes for the total price. And then this one here total item is set to 0. If we will not set this one to 0, look what will happen. Let's run the code again. Let's go back here. So again, for the purpose of demonstration, I'm going to use 1 as our input. Okay. Now, since we have remarked this one here, total item price, look at the item now. So we're able to compute for the buyer's price, which is 4, which is correct. But since we were not able to set it to 0, it continuously count for the values. But if you notice, the total sum, instead of 20 here before, now it's 60 because we're going to add all of this. So the purpose of setting it to 0 is for the value to be reset so that when it loops again, it resets to it only computes for the line here. Okay, for each of the buyer. So buyer 1, 2, 3, 4, we're going to have here 4, which computed 4 multiplied by 5, the sum will be equal to 20. Okay, so let's put it back here. Let's change the remarks. And then if we run the program again, okay, here, let's input the value. There. So the total item is 4. So total price is 4. Then we have here 5 buyers. 4 multiplied by 5 results to the sum of 20. So here's another implementation of a two-dimensional array. So that's it for this tutorial. Thank you for watching. Bye.